that a Derek Jeter thing in the background? Are you a Yankees fan?
Yeah, I'm a Yankee, Cowboy fan, Penguin fan.
Big loser.
Oh, what are like the worst? Basically, like the worst teams to like. Jeez.
That's awesome.
I saw you're a Shark fan, right?
Hell yeah.
I have a 2016 Stanley Cup puck if you want to see it.
Oh, aren't you special? Aren't you special? Yeah, no. I lost a bet and I had to wear a Penguins hat at work all day, so still bitter.
At least it's an adorable animal, though.
Yeah, but bitch Crosby needs to.
Yes.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Sidney Crosby.
Bitch Crosby.
Cindy Crosby.
Bitch Crosby.
Sidney Crosby.
Bitch Crosby.
Sidney.
Rich Crosby.
Sidney Crosby will.
Cindy Crosby.
Right, Sidney Crosby. Yeah, Cynthia.
Mr. I give a lot to charity philanthropist, Mr. Crosby. He does. You guys would love to have him as Rangers and Sharks fan. Come on.
You can't have him crawl on the fucking bench? No, I don't think so.
Right, he's a three-time Stanley Cup champ. And
No, you know what? Right now, at the point where he's at in his career, this is a perfect time for him to come to the Rangers and just be useless.
Yeah.
Touché.
And just get paid.
I'm also a Notre Dame fan as well in football, so I don't know if
Again, join a real fucking conference.
Also a Kansas Jayhawk basketball fan, and I guess I'm a real front runner, huh?
Yeah.
Again, why doesn't Notre Dame get in a real fucking conference instead of playing a bunch of no-name bitch-ass teams and then somehow magically getting a really good spot? We've all seen your schedule, and it's bullshit.
They're in the ACC, so
now they are.
No, they did this year because of the whole.
See, this year, so that's still very recent.
Yeah. And then why are you knocking the Yankees? You're all the way out in California. Who gives a shit?
I'm a Mets fan, and my dad's from Brooklyn. Okay.
Oh my god.
There you go.
This is so frustrating.
Although I have been to the new Yankee Stadium, and that is a work of art. I will give you that. Steinbrenner was doing.
You know what's odd? I've actually been to the Mets' new stadium, and I think Citi Field is actually better for baseball.
Citi Field is better, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was so pissed. I wanted to go to Shea, and then they tore down Shea, and then now it's Citi Field. And my dad, since he's from there, he's like, he remembers going to like the Polo Grounds where they both used to play there. And then, but that's interesting. City is nicer. Huh.
No, I wouldn't say nicer. I didn't say nicer because Yankee
Stadium. For the game though,
for the game,
atmosphere,
right.
Yeah, City's better.
Yankee Stadium's like a mall, man. Like you're not even into the game. You have to walk around. Like Citi Field, we went. Plus, I had a great nacho helmet for like $15, and I ate it all.
Oh, nice!
Such a fat ass. My wife's whole family went to some other place, and I was like, I got my sights set on something else here.
I know what I'm getting.
And I came back with a Mets nacho helmet, and just it was horrifying.
There you go. No, my husband's a diehard Yankees fan too, so.
So at least there's some good in your relationship. So
some, but we're season ticket holders for the A's, and so like they were gonna put us on screen because I had on my Dennis Eckersley jersey, but then he's over there in his fucking Yankee shirt, and I was like, we'll just cover him up, and there you go.
Now, how shitty is A's Stadium? I hear bad things.
First of all, don't you dare insult our stadium that's held by duct tape. How dare you?
I'm just asking. I hear bad things about it. Like when Matt Holliday came to the Yankees, he had a trade clause, Brian. He could get traded to any team except the
A's.
Because of their facility. Yeah.
Because he's a punk-ass bitch. Anyways, because he can't hang. He can't hang.
He was on the team. He's been on the team.
And he couldn't hang, obviously.
I don't take Matt Holliday's slander on this show.
Well, he couldn't hang with the real homies out in Oakland. I'm just saying. But no, our stadium is literally held together by duct tape. But then you see like Raiders fans, and it's like, you kind of, you get it, because it's like, I mean, I've been to Raiders games, I've been to Niners games. There's actually not much difference between the two fan bases, but like Raider games. Yeah, there was the game they were playing the Chiefs, and I was like, there was a fight leaving the game, like the Raiders won, and people were like trying to start a fight, and it's like, dude, you won, like, what are you doing? Yeah. So it's It's nuts. I do want to go to, speaking of crazy fan bases, I do want to go to an Eagles game because I've heard that those games are nuts.
Well,
That's madness.
here's the thing. My brother's a diehard Eagle fan. So.
Oh, really?
And I'm a Cowboy fan.
So funny story. The high school I used to coach track and field at, what is his name? Oh, Zach Ertz. He went to the high school I used to work at. Yeah, and it's like, and it's like we're the same age, and he's married to like, freaking Olympic athlete, and he's won a Super Bowl, and I'm like, I'm just in your podcasting. But
I'm sure maybe you should reach out to him. You might be able to get him on.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I watched some of your videos, and I found them hilarious. I texted Brian, like I showed my wife, and we were cracking up. Honestly.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
So, I want to like tell us about your podcast. This is like this is a real impromptu episode. If we throw it up, I just got to throw it out there because like.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just want to know about your podcast and stuff. We're here with Elly Schwartz, by the way. She runs a Just Animals. It's called Just Animals Pod. She reached out to us to come on and talk about animals, so we were like, let's get her on and just see how the vibe is, and let's ask her about herself before we just go on blind, pretty much. So tell us about your podcast, how the hell it started.
So basically, it was kind of lame. I love animals, big old animal nerd, even though my degree's in kinesiology. But my dad and I, like, ever since I was a kid, we're always watching like Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, Shark Week before it got really cool and mainstream and like super bro-y, and like Shark Week kind of blows now, unfortunately. Like old school. I was watching like a recent Shark Week thing, and I was like, this sucks. Like it used to be like actual like interesting stuff, like biologically stuff, like all their evolution, and then now it's like, oh, let's see if this Michael Phelps can outswim a shark, and it's like, who the fuck cares?
Right.
Like,
He totally can't, by the way.
Right. He totally can. I mean, like the slowest shark is still faster than him.
If we get what's his face back,
we
have her on.
Right. I don't know if you knew, we did a Shark Week for TruExact show back in August. We had 4 people on from Nat Geo to talk about sharks.
Oh, sick!
Yeah.
We had Paul Clerkin from Alien Sharks. He's actually,
love that.
I actually just texted him today, no joke.
Oh, nice.
And he actually wants to come on at the end of the month and talk about his new project. So if that happens, I do want him to come back on.
Please do. Yes, we actually, and we just, our first episode of the new year came out, and we actually did the Mako shark, which is probably like one of my most favorites. They're like the fastest sharks they are the fastest sharks in the world, and they're the ultimate predator. Like there's no like escaping. Like they hunt like below their prey, so it's like by the time you realize you've been hit, it's game over.
Oh, that's pretty evil.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, like there's like insane speed and strength. But anyways, how I started the podcast, I was like nerding out. I was like, let me find something to listen to. I think I was like cleaning or whatever. Podcasts are great for when you're at home, like doing random stuff or long car ride. And I was like, okay. I want to find something about animals. It's like there's cryptozoology, which is stuff, like chupacabra, Sasquatch, like that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fun for a little bit. But then it's like, okay, next. I searched like Spotify, Apple, and I was like, okay, I just want animals. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to do my own. And then it kind of blossomed from there. And it was originally just me, but I was like, I don't like staying in a room talking to myself. I feel weird. And so then I was like, Dad, come on the show with me. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And he's, I guess, like the comedic relief, as I'm sure that's probably what you were laughing at majority of the time, was him and his crazy whatever nonsense he has to say or whatever. And like he and I talk shit to each other, and people actually really like that. I like friends will text me or whatever comments. They're like, oh, I love the banter between you and your dad. And I'm like, yeah, that's all real. Like that's not, none of this is scripted. Like,
I was gonna ask that, like, because a lot of people, you walk around, she's gone.
The dog's doing something it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's 6 years old and he's eating. Oh, my contacts. Thanks, buddy.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you walk around with like a megaphone on your videos and Instagram.
And
bother your parents, like.
Yeah.
Like they seem like pretty. It reminds me of like when Bam did it to Ape and
Ape and Phil. Yeah. So what happened is, and actually it's really you say that because we were hanging out with some gym friends, and one of my gym friends, she asked my husband, she goes, why is she the way that she is? And my husband's like thinking, so he's like, oh fuck, she's being weird at the gym, isn't she? But yeah, so basically that's what happens when your dad encourages you to let your freak flag fly, and your parents don't try to filter you unless you get a little too off the, say a little, get a little too crazy, then they'll like rein it in. But I feel like I'm 100% my dad, but I have a little bit more social sense. He asked a pregnant woman, actually, if you listen to our episode, The Horseshoe Crab, where I told him he has Asperger's, because he totally does. He was like, I don't have Asperger's. It's like, you asked a pregnant lady if she was pregnant after she gave birth. And he's like, I only did that once. But yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked her at all.
Right.
That's it. You didn't need to say anything. Just be like, oh, congratulations, or whatever. Yeah.
And I guess he has no problem with his daughter just calling him out on it.
No, and he calls me like a fucking freak or idiot. So it sounds very toxic, but we actually have a really good relationship. We bond by talking shit about my mom. So
I'm sure she loves getting teamed up on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she does. And so, but anyway, so back to the podcast again. Sorry, I'm super ADD.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, got my dad on the show, and people are like, oh my God, your dad's hilarious. And because he'll do his little own research too. And it just kind of worked. And then I met Sam, who's a zookeeper. And I was like, hey, we do this show. We'd love to have you on, give us a little bit more legitimacy since you actually work with animals for a living. Like, you've done that. And then we've had some of her zookeeper friends come on. We've had, we have this side project called the Australia Project about the kangaroo killing industry in Australia, which FYI, PSA, kangaroos are not pests in Australia. The government has marketed them to be pests, but it's actually kind of rooted in, it is rooted in racism. They kind of figured like, oh, you know what, if we get rid of all the kangaroos, then the Aboriginal people will have nothing to eat, so then they'll just kind of go away.
It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Aren't the Aboriginal people are the original people?
Right, exactly. They're a First Nation. They are the first Australians and the only true Australians. But,
Well, it's even further than that. They're supposedly the first people.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the government is constantly tearing down these ancient cave drawings and whatever. The government was like, screw it. We need to put something here. Burn it down. It's like, what the fuck? As if I was an anthropologist, I would be pissed. But basically, long story short.
Do you think they started all those fires?
Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
The Australian.
What do you mean?
Oh,
yeah, in this shit show of a past year, that did happen.
That was the start of it, right? Early January.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
And what was crazy, so we were actually there in 2018, and the fires were really bad summer 2018 in California. And so okay, cool, we're going to go to Australia. And then it's like, oh, shit, more fires. And we're like,
even worse.
Sound like dicks, but fuck, we literally left home so we could get away from this. And it's like, oh, Queensland and Sydney are burning down. And it's like, shit. Yeah. And that's the only news I watch is local news because it's actually relevant stuff on there.
Yeah, to what you need to know.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, except for one time our local news station in the Bay Area was like, oh, Kim Kardashian wants to be a lawyer. So I may or may not have mean tweeted them. I was like, please talk about actual news. This is the Bay Area. Kim Kardashian lives in LA. This is not relevant. Thanks. But but that was the only time I really was like, I kind of went Karen on them, but it's also who gives a shit? That has nothing to do with our increasing homeless population or, people that are suffering right now. I don't get, okay, cool. Kim Kardashian wants to be a lawyer. Great. I want to be a fucking astronaut. No one cares.
Yeah. I can't stand it. I'm with you with some of this shit. You look at the news on I'm aging myself here. I have an AIM email, so you look, you look at some of the highlights of the news, and it just says stuff. And I actually say out loud, I go, "Who gives a fuck?" It's like Jay-Z, just using them as an example. Jay-Z and Beyonce feed their daughter cucumbers. I'm like,
right, yeah, it's like
shit.
Right, it's like, cool, my dog threw up. Is that newsworthy?
Kim Kardashian will post something, right? And then it'll be a dumb joke that's not even funny. And someone will comment under it, "This made my day." How shitty is your day? How did this make your day? That Kim Kardashian posted a photo of herself wearing fucking lipstick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's oh, slay queen. And it's okay, cool.
People suck. I need a name though. You know how Lady Gaga is the monsters?
Yes, the monsters. The monsters.
I need one.
You need a crew of followers.
I need a cult following.
You want to run a cult?
What about the truthers? Does that work?
It probably exists somewhere.
It probably does. That sounds like some Tea Party kind of shit. No offense.
Yeah. I'll think of it. I'll get back to it. Elly, I have 25 nicknames, all given to me by other people.
No, none of them are given by any other people. All by you.
I make them all up. I made them all up. No, I made 8. I made 8 of them up. 8 of them.
I would say more than 8.
Exactly 8. Like if you were to write them down, you could like highlight the exact 8 that you came up with.
Yeah, they're in alphabetical order as well. I don't have any that start with A though. So I got a number, 2 moves to checkmate. So
yeah. Never been done.
It's never been done. I lose at every chess game. I said that was my nickname once, and my friend played me at chess, and he beat the crap out of me. He was like, "Why do you have that nickname? You suck at chess." And I was like, "It's an intimidation thing. No one wants to play."
It never worked.
Right? Yeah, it's psychological warfare. I'm, trying to beat you up here.
My friends are savages, though, Ellie. They used to cheat at Monopoly versus me. Like, they would have embargo acts.
Absolutely ridiculous.
They would have embargo acts on me. Seriously, they wouldn't trade with me.
All right, Elly. So, hold on. Before he slanders any one of us, let me explain this a little bit. Now, in Monopoly, right, one of the rules is that you have to have all of your money visible.
Right?
You can put it under, you don't have to show exactly how much you have, but it has to be visible.
Whatever, yeah.
He used to take the 500s and he would put them in his hat. So we'd look over at his money and we'd be like, oh, Scott doesn't really have too much money. We're doing well, right? Because we always wanted to beat him because he's a sore winner, right? So what would happen is he would end up landing on things and he would take his hat off and be like, oh, look what I just found. And he'd pay for the spot and he would buy up everything on the board. Yeah, with all of his hidden money. So what we said is no longer trade with him. No deals with Scott. It was called the Embargo Act.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
That's not fair.
He would get upset. So what we used to do is 3 of us would play, and me and the other person would just trade with each other, and we would take first and third respectively.
Fucking frustrating.
And Scott would lose. Scott would take second.
There was times we had to put them in the board away. But I'd love to say we were 13. We were probably 23 when this stuff was going on. It wasn't like we were kids. But I deserve it because I used to cheat versus my grandma was kind of blind, and I used to play Scrabble versus her. And I would flip the tiles to make them all blanks and say, oh, look at this word, snorkel. And she'd be like, wow, that's good, Scott. And there'd be 12 blanks on the board. So I'd end up winning every time.
It's terrible.
Not cheat your granny on Scrabble.
You know what? She should have never taught me the game. It's her fault. She was a monster. So, Elly, sorry about the odd fucking all over the place.
We went really out there.
Really
with that.
You can.
But all right, your animal podcast. How do you pick your animals?
It's really all on my ADD. I'll usually be sitting at work when I should be focusing on work, and I'm like, all right, what animal do you want to do this week? And I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird thing, or I want to know more about that. Let's do that one. Or I'll be like, Sam, what animals have you worked with? And we'll go from there. And so we have a couple people in from Australia. We have our resident reptile guy. Actually just reached out to some people for another animal, trying to branch out and get more experts. It is a labor of love. It's, right. I have a job and stuff too, but it's great. We do love it. But yeah, so it's usually just kind of random, or every now and then someone will email us a request and we're like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that animal. So it just kind of also depends on timing and whatnot too. There've been a couple times we've reached out to, experts or whatever. And it's with scheduling, it just it didn't work. Right. And so, I'm sure you guys know how that goes.
It's horrible. Yeah. There's times we gotten in touch with people in September. We didn't get them on till last month. It happens.
We've also had musical artists coming on too, because it's you can more than one thing.
Right.
And it exposes you to two. It's music's really cool. Oh, hey, this shit is actually really cool too. And it's kind of, I like mixing the things and bringing two interests together. Cause I feel a lot of people, they have an interest in that's it. And it's no, you can be multidimensional and dynamic. You can do out there. You can be just as passionate about this thing as you are with that thing. And, that's what I like too. It's kind of pushing people outside of their own comfort zones as well. And being thinking yeah, I can really get into this too. It's oh, this didn't even occur to me. So that's also kind of why we have other people on the show. We are trying to get speaking of scheduling issues, there is a retired football player who I may or may not have found his house and sent him a personal letter. And then, and then it turns out he had actually moved. So I just put a letter in some random people's mailbox. So then I got his new address and sent him another personal letter. He responded to me, and I've just kind of been back and forth with his agent, and his agent's kind of screwing me over. Cause it's like, cause this man, the retired football player, he like clearly read my letter, and because he took the time to find me on Twitter and message me on Twitter and say like, here, contact so-and-so, my agent. And then I went and checked our email, and it was like, I had an email from his agent. So I was like, if he didn't want to do the show, he wouldn't have like reached out to me on Twitter, and he wouldn't have also had his email, asked his agent to email me, right? Like, am I crazy here?
Yeah, you're right. The problem is once they get involved, they're the worst people of all time. Like they're not funny people. They have no talent. So they just feel like they know what's best for their person. When in reality, if their client went on a random show, everyone who's been on your show, everyone who's been on our show, even if we're not the biggest fans of, let's say, their art, the music, we will support the shit out of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I went and bought UBI's album. I went and bought Chase Moore's album. Everyone we had on, I buy shirts, I buy hats.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Put the shit on. So by doing that, it's actually good for their brand, and the fucking talentless agents don't even see it.
So anyways, but it's like, this could actually be really good for his image. Like, you're coming on and talking about animals and conservation, and like, you can definitely tell like his PR team is really doing a good job, because on his Twitter account, he's always like golfing and, just hanging out. He looks like your nice neighbor, the nice retiree that lives next door, that all he does is golf and hang out. Like, so they're really, trying to give him that image and portray that image. It's like, well, if you wanted to portray a softer side, why don't you come talk about animals and, animal conservation too. It's like, this can only help your image. So it's like, from an agent standpoint, it's like, that would also I'm like, why would you not want to do that? But yeah, so I'm like, I've been joking around, but also not. I'm like, I'm going to send him another letter and be like, your agent's dicking me around. Like, just forget him.
So how do you want to do the like pod if we come on? How to, like, do you do Zoom and shit?
We use Zencaster.
Okay.
So we don't have a video component yet. We're working on that. But yeah, so we use Zencaster, so it's just audio, so it actually makes it super easy. And as long as you've got like a mic or even like a freaking Apple headset or whatever, you're good to go. But yeah, like, y'all can pick the animal if y'all want to wait till like Shark Week, or like, there's every animal pretty much has their own day now. It's kind of crazy. So if there's an animal of particular interest that y'all want to do, more than happy to do that. But it's just like, it's also kind of fun for us too, to be like exposing you guys to our world and, getting you guys stoked about animals. Because a lot of people too, even if they're generally not that interested in animals, they come on the show, they're like, actually, no, that's real. I learned a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm glad I came on here. And so that's the other thing too. Like, I think that helps also is like, Sam's a zookeeper, but she meshes with us very well. She's, same kind of out there personality. And, we have like cerebral moments, and then we're goofing around. And then it's like another actual getting down to business. And then I'm telling my dad he's got Asperger's. So, it's a nice back and forth. It's like NPR if it was fun.
Oh, okay.
If NPR had a sense of humor and wasn't always PC.
Right. All right, well,
maybe we could do like a split type episode, because Scott loves penguins and I love owls.
Ooh,
you like owls?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Yeah,
I've known you for 20 years, and it just shows how little I care about your interest.
Apparently, they're actually pretty stupid. Not to ruin it for you, but apparently there's like not much going. Have you seen that photo? Like, you can see an owl's eyes through its ears. Have you seen that photo?
No.
I have not.
Oh,
Owls are dumb.
They're nuts. I'm gonna send that to you right now. So we actually were at this animal sanctuary, and this poor owl was blind, and you look into his eyes, and it looked like he had, when you go outside and look at the stars, it looked like he had stars in his eyes. It looked like he had a little galaxy, and it's like,
oh yeah, I have seen that before. Yeah,
he was all magical and stuff. I was like, tell me my vision. But it's like, oh, he's blind, but at least he's at an animal sanctuary where he should be. But like, the eyes were so crazy looking. It was just nuts. Hold on. Owls' eyes through their...
I don't know. The thing for me, there's just something about owls that, like, it feels like they're... I mean, I know they're portrayed as like super intelligent.
They're quite the hoot. They're quite the hoot.
They're quite a hoot.
Right.
That's horrible.
No, but they're like, I don't know. They're like alien.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a pretty
alien
bird is a freaking dinosaur at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Behind my job, there's a bunch of turkeys, and they'll come. No, dude, it's crazy.
No,
I
fuck them.
feed them. I feed
No,
them.
don't
I give
feed
them
them.
like bread. I
No.
love them. They're awesome.
No, they're assholes.
Well,
They're
I
cool
just
to
found
me.
out what animal I want to talk about. A wild
A turkey.
There we go, real quick. They're dumb as fuck, and they dig up. They do nothing, and they're really mean. There you go.
They used to be
Short
velociraptors,
episode.
so they're all right.
Yeah. There's like cooler badass birds instead of the dipshit wild turkeys. They will
Oh, yeah.
fuck you up though. Like they will
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
They're evil.
are.
The golden eagles that toss the sheep or the goats off the cliff.
Oh yeah, they go down the cliff and it just goes like boing boing.
Yeah.
boing.
Those things are
Horrifying.
huge. 9-foot wingspans. It's absurd.
Sam is a really big bird person, so if you want to do a bird, that's perfect because Sam loves birds.
Yeah, I mean penguins fall in that category.
We can do penguins. We have done penguins. So which penguin? We've done the emperor penguin. There's different types.
The Pittsburgh Penguins.
Losers.
They skate.
They do skate.
Penguins are nothing but food.
Okay, you know what? This is ridiculous. Penguins are adorable, and that's just that.
They're not adorable. They're loud and they just shit and eat.